What's up, everybody? I've got a really exciting product review coming for you today. Today's product is Keto by Design by Created by God LLC. So, a few years ago, I started putting on weight. It had been a gradual process by, not exercising, not eating very well, and, as time goes by, your body starts to change as you get older, and, it's one of those things that's so gradual you don't really notice it until one day So I started exercising, I started eating more healthy, I started eating more vegetables, more lean meats. Hell, I even started having them put the vegetables on my hamburgers. But the weight just didn't seem to be coming off. I was getting in better shape, my cardiovascular endurance was better, my strength was getting better, but the weight just didn't seem to be coming off. And then about a year ago, I decided to go low carb. I cut out the bulk of the potatoes, the rice, the pasta, those kinds of things that I just hadn't taken out of my diet. I was trying to eat more healthy, but I was still eating carbohydrates and lots of them. So I ended up taking out those things, and ultimately, over the course of a couple of months, I ended up losing 16 pounds. And now a year later, I've gained back about 4 of that 16, so I've roughly lost still about 12 pounds. So I decided to go ahead and go low carb again to try and lose some additional weight. Well, what I ended up discovering was that by my going low carb, that I was bringing myself down off and on into a state of what's called ketogenesis. In doing research, I was looking for low carb diet information, tips, those kinds of things, and I discovered ketogenesis. And what I found was that when the body decreases the amount of carbohydrates below a certain level, your body actually switches from a glucose-based power system, per se, to one that's powered by molecules called ketones. So when your body is, for lack of a better word, deprived of carbohydrate, say in a famine situation, your body begins to burn fat as its primary fuel source. This is where the ketones come in. Your body turns fats into these ketone bodies, which can then be used as actually a very efficient fuel source. I had no idea what I was doing inadvertently was getting my body into ketosis, which was helping me lose fat. And then when I was eating the carbohydrates that I was eating, I was bringing myself back out of ketosis. So the weight that I did lose could have been so many more pounds than just the 16 that I did lose over the few months that I was actually doing low carb. Which brings us to a couple of weeks ago. A company called Created by God LLC sent me a bottle of their product called Keto by Design in order for me to try it out. The product is a mix of what they call exogenous ketone salts. Now, what these are supposed to do is help to counteract the effects of consuming some carbohydrate, because it's almost impossible to get away from eating some carbohydrates. But by consuming exogenous ketones, they help to put ketones into the bloodstream, which then kind of helps your body stay in this state of ketosis, even with some carbohydrate coming in. So as of right now, I've been on the product almost 2 weeks. I took weight measurements as well as body fat measurements, because I have a weight and body fat scale, the day before I started, and then a week later I took an additional weight and body fat measurement and compared the two, and I'm going to do that each week until the product is basically gone, so that I can see what kind of an effect taking this product along with being on a low carb diet will have on my weight as well as body fat percentage. The recommended dosage of this product is 2 capsules a day, 20 to 30 minutes before a meal. I tend to do it before breakfast because it's easy for me to just take them, get my breakfast and stuff ready while, over the course of that 20 to 30 minutes. So what did my results look like after the first week? Well, on day 0, before I started, I weighed in at 197 pounds with 35% fat. which equates to 69 pounds of fat. Nasty. So on day 7, I weighed in at 195.5 pounds with 33% body fat, which equates to 64.5 pounds of fat. See where I'm going with this? Over the course of 7 days, I lost 4.5 pounds of body fat. That seems pretty impressive to me. Admittedly, I exercise 3 to 5 times a week, which really hasn't changed since before I started taking this, so more exercise isn't the cause. My diet, on the other hand, has changed a little bit. I'm probably not in full-blown ketosis, at least partially through the week I probably wasn't, because my diet had just changed, but my number of daily carbs decreased over the course of the week because I was still getting 100 grams of carbs a day, which is really at the high end of what is understood for getting the body into ketosis. It's generally recommended that 50 grams net grams of carbs per day is lower, with 20 grams net carbs being ideal. And I was nowhere near that. My morning coffee was usually on the order of 30 to 40 grams of carbs because I put 2 tablespoons of agave syrup and 2 tablespoons of half and half in it. So I just started to cut that in half and use Splenda or something like that to bring that number down to around 20, but that's just my morning coffee. So I'll likely drop that coffee altogether over the course of the next couple of weeks, and definitely should get into full-blown ketosis if not. So now I said net carbs. So simply net carbs are calculated by the number of carbs you consume minus the grams of fiber in that. So since my coffee doesn't have any fiber, I'm not subtracting any, so the 100 grams that I mentioned is probably pretty accurate without, factoring in any fiber in any of the foods that I eat for lunch and dinner and any kind of snacks. But, realistically, 4.5 pounds of fat loss over a week is pretty impressive, in my book. So will I continue to take this product after my 1 month sample is over with? That's really going to depend on what happens over the next couple of weeks. That first week, I don't want to say it's a fluke, but I'm pretty impressed with the fact that, I lost as much fat as I did. Exercise, I'm exercising the same as I was. My diet has kind of evolved over the last week and a half. I'm due to take another weight and body fat measurement in a couple of days, so we'll see what happens then. But, if things continue the way that they are, I probably will continue to buy this product. Even in comparison to some of the other products, it's relatively cheap compared to some of the other things. I mean, I've seen some that are literally twice the price. So I'm gonna have to seriously consider purchasing more of this when it starts coming closer to running out. So I'm gonna recommend that people check this stuff out.